With our tours, we always have a mix of activities. We have guided structured time, and then there's some free time. Like now, people can just go off on their own for the rest of the afternoon. It's kind of late in the afternoon now, but there's still plenty of daylight left. Time to explore the old Paris Hotel, a place we've stayed. Very nice hotel. There's a half a dozen real good hotels in Prague, and of course there's many other smaller hotels. There's pensiones, hostels, bed and breakfasts, a variety of places to stay. The city very much has opened up to the visitor, to the traveler. And you can see why people love to flock here. These incredible old buildings, such as the Church of St. James. This too was originally built in the Gothic period and then later redesigned and redecorated in the High Baroque style. There's always been a lot of very important Baroque influence in Prague, a lot of Italian influence coming up from the south, and a lot of influence from Austria too, from the Habsburg dynasty, who always played a very important role in the history of Prague. Prague was ruled by the Habsburg dynasty for several hundred years. The Austro-Hungarian Empire certainly spread up this far. And so you have a lot of these stylistic touches that are inherited from the Viennese, from the Italians. One of Austria's greatest architects, Fischer von Erlach, played a direct role in creating some of the tombs and architectural designs inside this church, which has the second longest nave in town compared to the St. Vitus, the great cathedral up on the hill. Outside, we're back into the old town square, and it's a festive day today. There's something going on. There's always something happening. There's a concert, there's a stage set up, and of course it's all free. Just part of the serendipity of travel. You never know what's going to happen. But in Prague, you can count on some kind of entertainment happening every night. You'll see these people in the town square selling tickets to concerts. Prague usually has 2 or 3 or even 4 concerts every single night during the travel season. In the middle of the square is this very impressive monument to Jan Hus. 100 years before Martin Luther, Hus was telling the Catholic Church that it must reform, it must change. And he led a rebellion here in Prague, but he didn't succeed. He was executed, a threat to the church. Yet his teachings have had a profound impact on Czech society and Czech religion. We're just going to wander along in these back alleys for a while, get off the main square. The main square is certainly a big magnet, very popular, but there's all these little side streets that have shops and restaurants and cafes. Here's the largest outdoor street market in town. It goes for several blocks. It's very impressive. You can't miss it. It's just about 2 blocks south of the main town square. And then we keep walking into some other quieter squares, some other back alleys, getting further away from the crowds, enjoying the architecture of the Estates Theater. This is about 300 years old. Mozart conducted the premiere of Don Giovanni in the Estates Theater. That's its most famous claim to fame. And it has great acoustics with concerts every night during the busy summer season. Here's one way to save money on your food. Just backpack it. Buy some apples, oranges, cheese, a loaf of bread, jar of peanut butter, sausages, and you can eat right out of your backpack if you want to save some money. Save some money for shopping maybe. Small perfume bottles. Crystal is one of the great values to purchase here in Prague. Czech crystal being world famous. There's some architecture students reminding us that we are surrounded by living history, an incredible assemblage of architecture from the 1400s right up through the 20th century. Czech cuisine is fairly heavy on the meats, but there is a vegetarian restaurant in town, Country Life. And the food is excellent. It's very easy to eat here. It's cafeteria style, and then they weigh your food to find out how much to charge you. And the prices are very reasonable. Oh, you can get bargains in Prague in the little restaurants that are out of the way, maybe 4 or 5 blocks away from the main town square. Here we had lunch for about $4. You can have dinner for $7 or $8 in a decent restaurant with some real quality local food. Country Life vegetarian food is just east of the main town square. As you keep walking a few blocks in an easterly direction from here, you're going to get into more and more quiet streets and still beautiful buildings, sculptural features on the facades of the buildings. These date back to the time of the Renaissance and the Baroque, the 1500s through the 1700s. And I find these quiet little back alleys are some of the most charming parts of Prague. And then for a magical experience, have dinner at the Kompa Park restaurant just on the other side of Charles Bridge. And you will find this amazing restaurant with a view of the boats and the river and fine foods, real good salads, and we just had an excellent meal. You can't miss it. It's just here on the other side of the Charles Bridge, and you can get a table overlooking the water if you get there at the right time. It's a nice gazpacho. Very romantic spot for a cozy meal and one of the great views of Europe here, looking to the old tower over the bridge. Nice fresh salmon. One of the great treats in Europe is having a fine meal with fine scenery and excellent food. And it's all here tonight in Prague.
No.
And then an easy stroll back across the bridge takes you to the center of town for an evening concert of some folk music.